you know Airbnb started with just 3 air mattresses? What would you do if you were broke and had a crazy idea?
I quit my job, I pack everything in the back of an old Honda Civic, and I drive up a random middle of the night in October 2007. Of course, when I get there, I can't pay rent. I have around $1,000 in the bank. My rent, I vividly remember, was $1,150. It turns out the weekend I was going to be there, the first weekend, there was an international design conference. It was coming to San Francisco. And Joe and I went on the conference website, and they had to recommend hotels on the conference website. But every hotel next to the hotel said sold out, sold out, sold out. And we had this idea. We have all this extra space, we can barely pay rent, and these designers probably want to stay with other designers. So we said, what if we just turned our house into a bed and breakfast for the design conference? Unfortunately, I didn't have any beds, but Joe had 3 air beds. We pulled the air beds out of the closet, we inflated the air beds, and we called it the Air Bed and Breakfast. Airbedandbreakfast.com, and that's where the name comes from. We ended up having 3 people that we hosted, a 35-year-old woman from Boston, a 30-year-old from India, a 45-year-old father from Utah. The second night of this conference, I see a designer that I admired, and I come up to him, and I told him about Air Bed and Breakfast. I told him it's going to be the biggest thing in the world. One day, thousands of people are going to use this. And he looks at me very seriously, and he said, Brian, and I said, yes. He said, I hope that's not the only idea that you're working on. And I was like, just felt punched in the stomach. I would be so excited about this idea, and Joe would be so excited about this idea, and we tell people, and they just thought it was the worst idea they've ever heard of. They said, there's no way that strangers are going to stay with other strangers. And they said it was the worst idea ever. So if it worked, I guess it was the worst idea that ever worked.
What's the biggest challenge you've faced in your entrepreneurial journey?